What's up, everybody? Day 2 of Leadership Academy has just ended. It was another long day, a lot of great stuff. We got Sam with us here today. Our first video didn't work out so well because I was doing a different screen recording tool. But nonetheless, this is our environment that we've been doing the event in. We got our slow cooker meal cooked in. We got a nice beef chuck getting ready for tomorrow. We've been doing the Life Mastery Cleanse, kind of like a hybrid version for this event, so it's been cool. But today we're going to basically break down kind of the accumulation of the material that we took in today. There was a lot. And if you've gone through a Tony Robbins event, you know it all just starts to kind of blur and blend together, especially once you're done with a 13-hour day. You're just like, man, I'm ready for bed. But yeah, like I said, we got Sam here with us today, so we're going to just kind of share kind of what we remember and kind of like how we're going to use it. So if you want to kick us off.
Yeah, towards the blurring of everything, it makes sense when you go to a Tony Robbins event because you're fully immersed, so they're trying to get into your subconscious, and I've noticed yesterday when I was sleeping, I started dreaming about the content. But yeah, the first thing we started with today was an Enneagram. And it's like a personality type of test that shows you your strengths, your weaknesses, and maybe where you have blind spots. That was very interesting. Without going too deep into that, we have our scores. And so every single person falls into these 9 categories. I am the adaptive peacemaker, and Ryan is the quiet specialist.
So I can kind of read off what that means. So the modest mediator is what Sam is. So she's a 9. And type 9s tend to be calm, patient, steady, agreeable, easygoing, supportive, diplomatic, conflict avoidant, trusting and positive, motivated to maintain an atmosphere of harmony. They adapt to others rather than asserting themselves. Excellent listeners who easily see the views of others. They usually have a hard time knowing what they want and making decisions because they focus more on their external environment than their internal world. They adopt a go-along to get along approach to stay comfortable by preventing disharmony, which it's kind of interesting because apparently you're born with one of these types, and it really helps you get a good idea of your leadership style, like Sam was kind of alluding to. Mine is an analytical specialist, so I'm type 5, which basically means I'm a cerebral, observant, independent-minded, curious, unsentimental, self-sufficient, and objective being. I have a strong need to maintain control over my private space, time, and energy. I'm motivated to gain knowledge through continual learning, hence the reason we're here. Their intellectual approach can make them appear distant. However, they can be engaged and thoughtful, even if they don't share it. Their natural interest in information often leads them to become experts in their chosen field. Highly independent, they seek to conserve their energy out of fear of depletion and so may avoid emotional interaction. So I think it was a pretty cool idea. You know, I'm sure if you're like us, you've taken those tests about yourself and it tells you more information. But I think this is really just what helps you basically find out, you know, as a leader, as another fellow member of a team or whatever it is, it helps you see what your strengths are, your work style, how, you know, you're good to respond to things, what you're annoyed by, how you work in a team, your blind spots, and all this stuff. It's really interesting. I know there's like so many different tests out there. The one that we went to, it was Chestnut Pages Sullivan Enneagram Compass. It gives you like this really like 20-page report, but it was pretty cool to say the least. It definitely gave us some, you know, clues to how we could really leverage just our natural way of being. So that was the first thing.
Yeah, next up we did gaining leverage. I think that's an interesting one. Do you remember that exercise we were doing where you were asking questions, leaning into people's pain, leaning into pleasure, making people sit with those emotions so that you can get leverage to help them change the situation.
Yeah, today was definitely exercise heavy, so there was a lot of breakout rooms, and there's so many different ways that you can influence people, whether it's verbal, nonverbal. Um, but honestly, before we go there, there was that exercise that we did. Was this the one you're talking about? The creating
Yeah.
lasting change? Yeah, like that. That was so good, guys, because for me, like I was telling you guys about from day one, I wanted to really help change the intentions and motives that I have with people. And I was having like a crazy Claude slash Ryan moment where I was thinking about all this stuff. But it change is really not a matter. What is the saying? It's change is not a matter of
Motivation.
no. Like the change is not a matter of knowledge.
Oh,
It's
ability.
ability. Yeah, change is not the matter of ability. It's the matter of motivation, right? So when you at least become aware of what you want to change, it's not like, oh, like, yeah, like intellectually I know I can change. Like I have the ability to do it. You have the ability to do it. Sam has the ability to do it. But how motivated are you to do it? And that's what the exercise that we did here was really getting clear on that, and like the beliefs around it, and how our needs are getting met by being this way. If you don't know what the 6 human needs are, man, you got to start there, because man, the second that we figured that out, whew, everything changed. But this is just the same thing. It's the same type of framework that plugs into how you treat yourself, how you treat other people, and at least for myself, man, again, condensing 13 hours into a short little video here, it's not going to do it justice. But if you guys are curious, comment below. Let me know what is like standing out to you guys, and I can go into it. Sam can go into it. She can share her perspective. But basically, from a high level, you have certain needs that play into what you want to change. If you have a habit, or if you're doing something a certain way, you have beliefs attached back of that. In back of that, there's your needs. So it's like kind of this like funneling cycle of what you are doing, you are currently getting, and what you don't have, you have to change what you're doing, which in turn you have to change your beliefs, and then change how you get your emotional needs met through the vehicles that you've set for yourself. And then you have rule beliefs, and then your model of the world, and your life blueprint, all this stuff that you would have learned to do with Destiny. But it all just kind of like sparked in my brain, because I was like, man, that's crazy. And in addition to plugging AI into it all, it was like, wow, there's so many connections that I was making about myself, my needs. So, but yeah, what did you think about it? Because I did want to share like what the other side of it, but I want to hear what you think.
About this lasting change exercise?
Yeah, like what you wanted to change, what you believed about that, and what's most important to you.
Well, I mean, if you want to go first.
Oh, I just did.
Okay. What I wanted to change was, I think I did this exercise with somebody throughout the day. Again, it's all blur, but what I really want to change is who I show up as when I go to do cold calls. I want to be very confident. That's something that I was bringing into Leadership Academy, is being confident in doing the work, being a leader. By leading myself. So that was something that I really wanted to change. It's important to me because I know that that's at the basis of everything that we're doing, right? The action that I'm taking is going to build voice expansion into the company that we're envisioning. And so I'm seeing now that why I wasn't doing the work was because of certainty and love and connection. So I subconsciously, consciously am prioritizing comfort. And even though it's not very comfortable, my brain is telling me it's comfortable to not do the work. Even though the current situation is not where I want to be, and it's more painful than what the compelling future would be. Love and connection, I prioritize that a lot, but specifically with you, and I'm already getting that need met really well, so I don't seek that in connecting with others, which I think is preventing me from viewing cold calling as an experience to connect with people, because I'm like, oh, I already have the connection with you and it's been so great. So I just see that like my focus is off and my meaning and language has been off. And just to sum it up as like a quick synopsis.
Yeah, it makes sense, and I think, everybody deals with something like that. Everybody has something that they want to change about themselves, and that's usually the obstacle or the challenge or the thing that's in the way from them getting what they want. And it's crazy because people don't they're not aware of it, right? Like, we're not aware of those things that were getting in the way of what we're talking about. Because for me, in a simpler, short, straight to the point way, is like I want to be able to give more than I take. I kind of got humbled with the awareness or the realization, epiphany, whatever you want to call it. It's like the way that I've been treating my relationship, the way that I've been treating making content, it's been very selfish. And I have like a whole new look around creating change in my life, because it's like I want to create things for people that aren't going to be tied to some sort of ulterior motive that comes back to what I get out of things. And it's kind of some real stuff, because it's like, man, how did that program even begin with? How did that even start with? But then like the next step for us would be look at the vehicles that are important to us, right? Because if you have vehicles in your life to get your needs met, it's either healthy or unhealthy, constructive or deconstructive. And you got to be conscious with this. Tony talks a lot about the triad. So this is basically your physiology, your focus, your language, meaning, and that's also center stone to not only this exercise that we're going to talk about here, but that's also integral to leadership and talking to people, right? Like, there's a lot of interventions that we do, and we talk with people and we notice their physiology, like how are they sitting? Like, are their shoulders slouched over? Like, are they making eye contact? Are they looking at you? What are they focusing on? Are they focusing on the problem? Are they focusing on, how bad the situation is? Or are they focusing on, what the opportunity could come from this situation? And then language that they use, the words. And there's like so many, submodalities of like, you want to match and mirror. Like, if they're slouched, like, you can slouch and you can kind of get to their level of energy. Or if they're talking fast, like, there's different tools and everything that they talk about here. But it's a long-winded way for us to say, for the lasting change that we want to create, we really had to analyze, the vehicles that we use to get our needs met to the goal that we want to change and why it's important to us. And then designing a new physiology, designing a new focus, designing new language and meaning. And obviously, like, who the hell are we to sit here and say, oh, yeah, like, this is, so easy. It's really not. Like, I don't know about you, but I feel like, you go through these events and it feels good, but there's so much work that needs to be done after. I think that's the thing that no one really talks about when it comes to, the whole personal development or like these whole events. It's like, it's what you do with it after, ongoing, and you don't really see the effect until later in life, and you just have to constantly keep reminding yourself of it. There's that quote Joseph McClendon said. He was like, personal development is like, when you're born, you start at 1. Personal development's like a journey to infinity, right? Everything that you do is like another point towards infinity. Like, you'll never get to infinity, but it'll be better than just being at number 1, right? Mm-hmm. For your personal development. So these are all the things that tie into just going further faster. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But what did you feel about with the triad part of things for yourself and others?
I mean, obviously it's super important. That's the whole core of how you are going to influence yourself and influence people. I think before this event, obviously because we've been to other Tony Robbins events, we know about the triad. So I think I had a heavy focus on physiology, because even in here I was like, oh, before I do cold calls, like, I'll jump on the rebounder, I'll get my energy up, I'll notice it in a strong posture and state. But just because my physiology is right, my focus has not been super strong.
Right.
And then the meaning that I give things is also not strong. Like, I'll try to use language myself to like program myself like, oh, this is gonna be a great one. They're gonna pick up. Like I'm gonna have a great conversation. But there's little things that people say, or if I get a voicemail or something that the meaning isn't as empowering as when I give it to myself. So it's more of that external, trying to make it more empowering for myself and the meaning that I give it and what I focus on. So yeah, the triad wasn't, it was surprising to see how the triad was not as strong as I thought it was, which makes sense because that's why I want to change the behavior, obviously.
Right. I mean, it's cool because, no matter what's going on in your life, my life, our lives, anyone's lives, it all comes back to the triad, right? Like everybody has a triad. Triads, what you focus on, what your body is doing, how you treat your body, and then the language and meaning that you live with. We all live in an emotional home. So it's really just one of those three things that's preventing you from creating lasting change. Because all your bad habits are just triad. I learned that was crazy because it's like, and then there's like the whole thing we did today about the pattern interrupts. Like I swear, guys, like I was feeling the state that I've been feeling. The triad, right? It's the same thoughts. Like what am I focusing on? The language that I use, the internal language, the self-talk, the physiology, the shallow breathing, and just feeling really stressed. And then Sam screamed at me, and it was the intervention of like, oh man, like I just shook up your triad. And that's the thing, it's like you got to interrupt the pattern. And again, like easier said than done. And maybe you do or don't have a Sam or have a Ryan, but it's like you got to do that for yourself. And that's my biggest freaking challenge, is like doing that in the because there's so many times, I'm sure if you're like me, there's so many times you're like, all right, screw it, I'm gonna just do the bad thing, I'm gonna just play out the bad triad because I just don't care. They're like, it's not willpower, it really is not willpower, it's do power. Like that's the whole thing that I was like a shift in my mind. It's like you have to use your power to do it, reclaim a different part of yourself, or else you're just gonna stay stuck in the triad. And if you're just stuck in the triad, then you're never going to create the change that you want. It doesn't matter how many reasons why you have to do it. Obviously you can link anchors and consequences to everything, but if you're not doing it constantly and letting those actions compound, like you're never going to ever change anything in your life. And that's the same thing for other people too, right? Like that's the whole point of the event, is leadership. And the same things, so within, so external. That I don't know what the exact saying is. I've said that a couple times now, but it's like so within, so without. Like the inner world is a reflection of the outer world. So it's like how you treat yourself, how you lead yourself, is how you lead other people, and how you treat other people. And this whole thing, for me at least, about wanting to add more value than I take, leaving people better than I found them. It's like it's the same thing with myself, right? It's like I gotta leave myself better than I found myself, not live in a triad that's going to be destructive to myself, or try to take more from myself than I'd give to myself. It's the same thing, external to other people too. So just something to think about there. But yeah, a lot of interventions today. We're like barely.
And that's what
making a dent.
The points of the interventions have been, just so this is like kind of a full circle, is to change that triad.
Yeah.
So like the interruption of your pattern is changing what you focus on. The language and meaning, we were working on 3 types of reframing, or framing the situation so that you can see things in a different light with different meanings. And then just, physiology is kind of the easiest one. It's like take a deep breath, change like how you're sitting, get up, stand, change environment. It's really the focus and the language and meaning where it can get kind of difficult if you don't have these strategies that we're learning at Life Mastery or
Leadership. We did that
Academy.
Too. Yeah. And then kind of just rounding things out. I mean, we just watched a 2.5-hour video on nonverbal communication, which I thought was really great.
So cool.
Really cool. There's like so much. It was like 38% of communications voice, 55% of communications nonverbal, and the 7% of the other communication face to face comes from the words said. Like, or if you're on a Zoom call, or if you're talking to somebody on the phone, it's like that's how much communication's occurring. Like even if like you call me up on the phone and you're talking to me, 55% of your communication, like your gestures, your language, like what you're, you know, doing with your body, like those are words too. They're just not verbal, right? And it's like how I move my hands, how I there's so much to unpack. Like
I know.
I couldn't do it all in just this little video. Like, but it's definitely something that, you know, is really something to consider as learning as a language. You know, if you're in business, if you're in, you know, want to, you know, spruce up your relationships, or if you want to, so many different things you can use this for, right? If you're in law, apparently if you play poker, you know, there's so many different things. We don't gamble, but still, you know, it's something to think about. It's cool how there's another layer of psychology when it comes to nonverbal communication as its own language. So it was definitely really cool to look at it from, you know, a different lens, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's
Any major breakthrough from today?
oh yeah, breakthrough. I mean, I think like even just like explaining it on the video, Joseph McClellan III had us basically. He said, you know, before you go to bed, don't just go to bed and, you know, unplug. It's like you want to sit down and go through all your notes, and I think it was really helpful just to go through these notes on this video, and having like a breakthrough into myself of, you know, really looking at this lasting change piece, because we talked about this yesterday. This was like the 7 master steps that we learned all about yesterday. If you guys haven't seen yesterday's video, that was our attempt of making a video that we didn't get any footage for, but we got the audio, so we can see and enjoy a nice, beautiful photo of us. But we talked for about 14 minutes about this on day 1, which was a great day.
Yeah.
But it was really cool, like as a breakthrough. Breakthroughs are a big deal if you're not in the Tonyverse. But I think that whole segment this morning, like, you know, the Enneagram's cool. Like, I think it's cool. Like, it's like, oh, what's your horoscope or whatever. You know, it's cool because it's more objective, more tactical. But I'm really sinking my teeth into this lasting change thing here, because, you know, it seems like, you know, what you put in is what you get out. And with these events, like I'm always trying to get something out of it. And I feel like I could really sink my teeth into this. Like, this is probably my biggest breakthrough, is taking time to sit down, and I was having my coffee and I was like really getting into it. So that was, you know, kind of my take there. What about you?
Yeah, I think that even just hearing you talk about it again, it's like the whole point of Leadership Academy is to know how to create lasting change for yourself and others. So the fact that we did this exercise and now it's written down on paper what actions I want to change, it's going to be a lot easier to make that change with the Master 7 Steps and everything else that we have here. I think mine was really the get leverage piece.
Yeah.
The questions, like, how does that make you feel? And
Right.
asking the pain and pleasure questions, because that's really correlates with business and cold calling and all that. And I know that's what I keep pulling back to, but that's kind of what I'm trying to get out of it. So
No, yeah, it makes
pretty
sense.
cool.
Yeah, like I think that's really the thing too, because there was like the whole training Tony did about, you know, the interventions, man. Like, interventions are sales. Leadership is sales. Like, everything is sales, man. Like, it's so interconnected, and like it's so great that, you know, you're learning sales. Like, I'm working in sales. Like, we're in positions of leadership. Like, great event to be a part of, because there's so many different vectors or angles or ways that you could really, you know, attack this. I think it's just so cool. But I love to hear that, and I love to hear that you're, you know, making those connections. And what's exciting, guys, is we're not even halfway through. Like, we
Well, we're halfway.
have barely really. I know, but like, it's hard to say we're halfway through, because a lot of the work comes day 3, day 4. You know, it's like day 1, 2. It's like, all right, here's everything you came for, everything you need to know, and then day 3 and 4 is like really like what you come for.
Mm.
In the past, is at least just how these types of events go. Maybe if you've been, maybe you could agree to that. But it seems like the real work is like once you make the turn, and then you start coming to like leave the event, and they give you what you need to put everything into action. But I think tomorrow will probably be like an extremely big day. They have it in chapters. It's not necessarily like normally it's like day 3 is integration day or whatever. But I have a really big feeling tomorrow is going to be an incredible day, and we're gonna start integrating it. That's usually what we do. We like learn a whole bunch of great stuff. We get really conscious, really aware, and then intentional, and then we start to like ingrain like that new triad, right? It's like we got clear on what we really wanted today, and yeah, it's just there's just so much wealth of knowledge and information coming from this. So it's been a great event. I really, really, really wish we did this on our journey. We've been coming to these events since 2024. And we've been to all of them now. Every single Tony Robbins event you could possibly go to, we've gone to. This is the last one. We've gone through UPW twice, Business Mastery, Date with Destiny, Wealth Mastery, Life Mastery, now Leadership Academy. And now we'll be going to the leadership version of Date with Destiny, and then the leadership version of Wealth Mastery. And that's literally everything you can do. Like, more money than I will like to admit ever publicly on this YouTube, at least for now. But yeah, it's crazy, and it's a lot of great stuff, man. If you guys, wherever you're at, I couldn't recommend it enough.
Seriously.
Seriously, like I couldn't. Like, just start with the free event, start with some of the free material, just plug in, guys. We are not affiliated in any way, shape, or form. Like, seriously, it's just like a life journey. We saw the Time to Rise Summit at the end of 2023 when we were heavily addicted to weed, and just basically our lives were in the gutter, and we were doing nothing and had no real vision or dream or aspirations. And now here we are, basically like 3 years later, and we're like making complete, sprints and just so many leaps right now towards everything that we've ever wanted that we weren't able to ever have in our proximity. It feels like the light's right there. The light is just at the end of the tunnel in this whole event. It's like we've lit a flame when we started going to these events, and then every event was like putting more wood on the fire, and then like this whole year of 2026, it was just like we got this huge giant tank of gasoline. Sam has one, I have one, and we just threw it on the fire, and then boom, like everything's just blowing up. So there's my my fun little analogy there, but there's a lot to unpack. I wish we had these types of videos. We couldn't have been, and we were not the people that we are now to make those videos then. It just, man, it would have been a mess. But we're here now. We're doing good things. We got the vlog going. I'm glad we'll have these. I think it'll be so cool to see the growth and everything from being plugged into a community, being plugged into this type of material. It's just so great. We're talking like multiple decades of the accumulation of thousands of experts, of people who just have a lot of answers. So wherever you're at, it might be a good thing to look into, but we'll be sharing more along the way. As you guys know, this vlog is supposed to be more about sales, Charlie Morgan, the journey, and all this stuff. If you're following my channel, that's kind of, what the intention was, but I'm trying to be flexible with this channel and, just include more of like, the personal life, who I am, who Sam is, and what we're doing behind the scenes, really documenting everything, sharing everything. Just being real with you guys, it's like really what leadership is just truth, leading people to the truth, feeling, caring, and like this is kind of like our way to just, contribute right now and give back. For the people that were, who we were back then, it's like, man, if they could even just see us right now and see a video like this, just to know that there's hope to get out of a rut, there's hope to get out of, whatever sort of position that you're in. Like it's definitely possible, and it's all patterns. Like that's like the whole thing. Like I remember we had like a business idea, like perfect patterns, and we were like so motivated. But yeah, it's really not like they said, like it's not the matter of ability, it's the matter of motivation. If you have the right motivation, you can do anything. And that's where I feel like more and more with these events, it's plugging in more and more reasons why to do stuff, and make it all happen. Because you got one life, not two, one. And that's it. So
I think our story is the definition of resourcefulness because it doesn't make sense how we're here right now. It doesn't make sense that in 2 years we've completed all of the Tony Robbins. Like, when you just said that, it blew my mind because when we did watch the Time to Rise Summit, we didn't even have enough money to go to UPW the first time.
We couldn't afford $350 American dollars.
We didn't go. We had to wait a whole other year for another free event to then be like, okay, now we're going to commit to it. And it was such a big deal at the time. And we had to go to 2 UPWs before we were able to get into this mastery bundle. But time has a funny way of working, and when you are resourceful, things actually happen. Things change. So it's very exciting to be here. I'm super glad we are making these videos. I think, like you said, previous videos would have been a mess, and I don't think they really would have been super valuable to watch back on. So
yeah,
it's great to be here.
Right, because that's the thing. Like, if you guys probably are still at this point in the video, it's like you feel the energy, right? Like, you wouldn't have sat here for 31 minutes if you hadn't resonated with this, you know. And I think that's really just the thing is there is a life in a world and a reality out there where you feel your highest energy always, you know. And we're still on that journey. We're still working towards that. We're still stepping into that, you know. It's not something that just like, oh yeah, Ryan and Sam has it all figured out. Hell no, we don't have it figured out. Like, we have been figuring out since we freaking came into this world, you know. It's like just something that everybody deals with and everybody does. And that's it for us, you know. Like, maybe it's not Tony Robbins, but it's something or somebody out there. And, you know, it's like you just have to have that faith and level of belief that, you know, you can step up and you know, own your life. But yeah. Where's the other one?
Oh,
yeah, it's all good. We'll show you guys tomorrow the mystery sign. I'm gonna leave it on an open loop. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, man, you guys are in for it tomorrow. We will see you then. All right. Leadership Academy.